Thank you, Jesus. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesus.
Somebody gonna get it today.
Yeah.
Somebody gonna get it. You're gonna do something amazing today, Lord.
Yeah.
Something awesome.
Yeah.
We know it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
We know it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jesus.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Power Up Man Cave. I'm Keith Withrow.
I'm Gary Rambo.
Yeah, and we're here to bring back some more exciting content today. And always remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. Support us. We'd like to hear back from you guys.
That's right. Now, today we want to talk to you about a subject called identity crisis. Now, what this is a prevalent problem, in our eyes, and I believe it affects, both men and women. This is not just an isolated kind of thing that's been going on. And let me get a little deeper with this. We live in a society that's actually a lot more disconnected than what we used to be.
Yeah.
In terms of proximity, a lot of times communication, many times communication-wise, is done through electronics, Zoom, and, other ways, et cetera. So that kind of, as a human being, we're actually there's a need to be connected, to other people.
Yeah.
So the way that's manifested here lately, well, not lately, but for a while now, it's been through social media.
Yes.
So what's happened is that with social media has actually been it's created a situation where you have people that have created, profiles and personas and images of themselves that are just they're not true.
Right. They're not consistent with who they are.
They're fake.
And that's the one thing we talked about in a couple of episodes. Actually, we talked about that. We touched on it when we got into the insecurities. The insecurities piece.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about how people create these personas.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get too far into it, hold that thought. Just wanted to let everybody know, Power Up Man is the show where we like to come on and use our be transparent through our life experiences and things that we've dealt with, things that we've gone through, and maybe even going through. And we use these things and talk about them in a way that everybody can connect. This may not be for everybody, but whoever needs to get it can get it, because this is a major problem, especially amongst our young people. But it's a problem amongst a lot of people now with social media and all of our devices that we use. So we think that this is very important to talk about, and this is what we do on the Power Up Man show. But with that being said,
it's actually in terms of what social media, the way it was engineered is more. It's made to be addictive. And let me explain. Just from an example, like one of the your functions, like when you're on the screen and say you're Facebook, and you pull down to refresh your screen, with your thumb. That was created in that way, as just like it's like a slot machine.
like, it came from the gaming industry.
Right.
That's some of what they use on the video games and whatnot.
Right.
Yeah, to keep you, kind of get you into that addictive state.
Right, because after you do that, screen refreshes. Now you got whole new posts, coming up. You know what I mean? Something else that really captures your attention.
Yeah, I get it.
And honestly, I know even for myself, I say, well, I'm gonna just get on here for 10, 15 minutes or something like that. And next thing you know, it's been 2 hours.
Wow.
It's easy.
I do mine now hardcore, but I know a lot of people can't. I see people at the light. They can't even sit at the light without getting, and they get locked in. They can't even pull away when the light turns green.
Yeah.
And it's just total it just totally has people mesmerized.
Right.
It's out of control. So.
Yeah, definitely is. And see, the thing is that with all the time that's spent, with that, because it makes me look in terms of like, what about all the younger people? Look how impressionable that is if they're seeing images out there that are not true.
Right.
That people are portraying, showing themselves living lives that are just fake.
Yep.
And then they're trying to use that as a measuring rod.
Right.
you know, okay, well, I got to live up to that standard.
Right.
You
That's
know,
not even realistic.
Yeah, because the other part too is that, say when a person, you know, posts something, you know, and it could be Facebook or anything.
Right.
And one day that particular post, you know, say it gets, you know, 100,000 likes.
Right.
You know, and now they're feeling like, oh my God, everybody loves my post.
Right.
And the next day they post something else and they get 5 likes. And so now, because sometimes people have connected, you know, their sense of validation with how many likes they get on posts and
the
stuff.
interest
So
and feedback they get on their posts.
Right. So it just puts them on this roller coaster. Like, man, I'm great today, and tomorrow, you know, everybody loves me today, and then they hate me tomorrow. You know, that kind of thing, and this is up and down.
Right.
You know, all the time. So
I get it.
You know, there's actually been studies that have been created, that have been done, that have linked, you know, social media with, you know, depression, and we talked about depression before, and other issues, you know, that have been going on with, you know, with people and young people.
Major issue. Young people, old people, older people. A lot of people have been impacted. And I know we always go back to what happened with the COVID-19 pandemic. I mean, think about it. Everybody was locked in. They were in their homes. All the human interaction had been pretty much shut down. So guess what? That even made people even more dependent on what's going on in the social. Nothing against social media. We're using it as a platform right now to get our message out and to help people. So it's not all bad. It's all good in a lot of ways. All we're saying is that don't get yourself locked in on what you see when it comes to people's posts, because again, people create fake personas. They create these worlds for people to see, and it's almost like when you see a television show, it's not necessarily accurate. So don't measure or make yourself feel like you're not worthy, or you're not as good as the next one, or don't have something that somebody else may have, because somebody else may have something on their social media page that's not even theirs. Let's use this for an example. I know for a fact there's a lot of young people who used to run around. They used to actually relate videos, like they see a video and they see the entertainers do the videos with the big mansion, the Ferraris and all the girls and all this and that. And they actually think that a lot of these cats actually live like that every day. Yep. Well, yeah, some cats do. Some people do have that lifestyle. But guess what? A lot of times when they make the videos, that stuff is all made. Those are props.
Right.
Like those cars are props. The mansion they rented was a prop. You know, so if you actually try to gauge what you're doing or trying to live up to what other people are doing by looking at social media, that's not a healthy way of looking at things. That's not a realistic way of looking at things. So we're just trying to bring awareness as it relates to our younger people, because they're going into some deep states of depression and struggling with some real issues, because they're trying to live up to, and they're actually trying to equate their self-worth and what's going on with them to what they see on an image or in a post.
That's right. Because it's just to piggyback off of that, in terms of them equating or measuring themselves up to these images, you know, what should be happening is for them to, you know, equate their self-esteem, their self-image to what the Lord says about them.
Right.
You know, instead, because just like we were saying about the 100,000 likes, you know, the 5, you know, likes, you know, all that stuff, and this roller coaster and stuff, and this up and down self-evaluation, you know, basically like trying to build a house on sand.
Right.
Not
stable.
Not stable.
No stability.
It's just always up and down.
Right.
You
No
know, but that's just it. When we speak of what God says about us, when we think about what He says about it, He says, you know, we know that He loves us.
Right.
We know He has a plan for us. That's Jeremiah 29:11.
Right.
You know, He's got a plan for us. He loves us. You know, we know these things about Him, and we know that when we base our lives on the solid foundation of what he says,
Right.
and not what social media says, and not what the world says, and all this
Right.
other stuff. You know, we create ourselves a solid foundation.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Most definitely. Again, we're saying young people, but then this is the issue with people
True.
even in my age bracket. And again, I'm 51 years old. You know, I know several people who post a lot of things that presents an image of them being like, you know, a certain way or of a certain value or a certain class of people, maybe present themselves as they're like millionaires or multimillionaires, but that's not actually the case. Now, nobody's saying don't, you know, have good self-esteem about yourself. I'm not saying don't do that. Like, and if a person wants to do that as what they're doing for whatever reason they're doing it, maybe to make themselves feel better, hey, it's not for me to judge. All I'm saying is that, you know, don't feed too much into it, because what you see may not always, in most cases, it's not true. It's not what it seems. It's almost like you have to look at it like it's a television show. You know, it's for entertainment. And a lot of people present it that way because that's what they do. They're building up their following because they present entertainment. So in the entertainment industry, you have to do things that would captivate people's attention. So you have to realize that's what it is, and keep it in that box, keep it at that level. But you got to realize some people actually are feeding into this stuff, and they actually are like being depressed and feeling like they're not living up to where they need to be, or trying to compete and getting themselves in again, I always talk about the cave, putting themselves in a dark area, putting themselves in a place to where they can't be totally who they need to be, and not know who they are. So they won't be able to live their life to the fullest.
Yeah.
That is a problem. I'm going to say this. I said it before, I say it again. Internally, study who you are. Know who you are. Everybody's made different. Again, I probably said this 4 or 5 different episodes. Everybody's made different.
Yeah.
Be your own best self-study. Understand who you are, your likes, your dislikes, your strengths, your weaknesses, your areas in where you're gifted, where you can do things very well without even really trying. Understand these things. Get to know who you are. Spend less time studying other people. Not to say don't read books, don't get information, don't take advice. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying know who you are first. Because if you don't know who you are, then how can you know what works well for you? How do you know what fits you? Because half of the time people are operating on the wrong track. Yeah. What I mean by that is this track, my track is made for me. I know who I am, so I stay in my lane. I'm on my track. But my track, if Gary tries to come get on my track, that track may not work out so well for him because he has his own personality. He has his own self. He has his skills. He has his areas, and he has his gifts. He has his areas in which he's really accomplished, and he stays in his track. On his track works well for him. So if he spent time trying to look and study my track and not paying attention to his own, then guess what? He's wasting time.
Right.
He's not moving at the rate that he could be moving at because he's not set up to be on my track. So all I'm saying is that it's fine to read books. It's fine to maybe, you know, admire somebody. It's fine to get some advice, but that doesn't mean shut down and not know who you are first. Because once you get to know who you are, then you know what works well for you and your personality and your skill sets.
You know, the thing is that you are all that you need.
Yep. Yeah,
And because it's so, when you really start thinking about and understanding, there's power in your uniqueness.
Yes.
In the fact of really starting to understand. And me being who I am and Keith being who he is, you know, us coming together, I'm not trying to be a copy of Keith.
Right.
And he's not trying to be a copy of me.
Right.
But together, we come together and make a show like this and use both of our, you know, our strengths.
Right.
To make, you know, what we believe is be a
right.
pretty
You
good
take
show.
ingredients.
Right.
It takes different ingredients to make a cake.
That's right.
But you have to have the ingredients.
Right.
You have sugar, you have eggs, you have shortening. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't make cakes, it's obvious, but I know those three things that usually go in the cakes, right?
Right.
But there's nothing. Sugar is nothing like an egg.
Right.
They're two totally different things, right? But they all have their purpose and their aspects that they bring together when you mix it all in the bowl. And when you make it have the consistency that it needs to have, and then once you put it in the oven and cook it at the Fahrenheit that it needs to be at, everything reacts at the rate that it reacts to that particular temperature, and it does what it does, and it all comes together to make a great product. So you can't just take all eggs and some real eggs, some fake eggs, some plastic eggs that look like a real egg,
Right.
and put it all together and try to make a cake. You won't have nothing but a bunch of eggs,
Right.
a mess.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so important to know who you are, like, and just be who you are. Not to say not to ever try to improve yourself, and always try to improve yourself. See, so you got to be unique. There's power, as you said, great point. Power in uniqueness. Man, that's so powerful because everybody's different. If you learn who you are and just be good at it, it's power in that. Like, it's like we said on the last episode, everybody's walking around and they're in this morphed state of, like, they're in this hybrid state because they've tried to be somebody else so much that they've lost who they were in the sauce. Like,
Right.
so there's some people walking around with very little of the real them available to see. To the point that when a lot of them are at home, they're still faking
Yeah.
who they are, to the point where there's very little of them really showing.
I remember in the previous episode, I think I said, have you ever really met the real you?
Yeah, that's good stuff.
And I think that's powerful because when you think about it, as you go through your life and you do this, you know, get involved in these different things, go to work, you know, family, kids, you know, friends, get involved in different things or whatever it is, you know, it's really easy to get lost in the sauce.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
especially with all the, you know, the stuff, you know, social media and other things we've been talking about.
Yeah.
It's really easy to get caught up in all of that kind of stuff. And it's like, where am I in this? Where's my uniqueness? Where's my real originality?
Right.
Who am I, really?
Right.
You know, so like you said, it's really important to look within yourself. You know, start talking to the Lord, start asking questions. What is my contribution? What am I supposed to be doing in this, you know, in with my life in this situation?
Right.
You know, what do I have to offer the world? You know, what is my real purpose here?
Right.
You know, so in my view, these are the things that questions should be asked, you know, to get to the bottom of that and to really start to understand, you know, I believe in my view, that's where your true happiness is.
It comes from within.
It comes within.
See, that's the problem. Everybody's trying to look for somebody else to make them happy.
Right.
But you got to be happy from inside out.
Right.
How you can be happy from inside out? One, if you don't have a relationship with the Lord. One, you get joy just from that. Two,
Right.
how you can be happy with yourself if you don't even, from the inside out, and you don't even know who you are. Like how do you know what works for you? Like for you,
Yeah.
and not for the person that you're trying to portray. Like you align yourself with a group of people. You have people who have aligned themselves with a group of people that's don't even fit into their normal personality. And then they're running around and trying to act like these things. If the group likes this thing, oh yeah, we want to go do, this and that, or whatever it may be. And then you really don't even like it, but because you're trying to fit in with this group, because you want to be like them, now you off over there doing something that you really don't even like, but you're faking like you like it.
Right.
So you're not even taking the time to even learn to do the things that you really like.
Right. Yeah. And
Because
take what
he's
you
trying to
just
fit into a square peg into a round hole.
take what you just said and expand that over a person's whole life.
Yeah, because
Right.
that's how long it goes in a lot of cases.
Right. Whole life.
Yeah.
It's been just like that.
Right.
And so we're just trying to emphasize the point of not exactly the opposite, not doing that.
Yeah.
Getting to a place where you're really living a life that reflects your authentic self.
Right.
Who you are and your uniqueness. And that's a powerful place to be. I think even in terms of just for myself, because I mentioned in previous videos, my own issues.
Right. Right.
It's one of the things that stood out for me is that all I really have to do is be me.
That's it.
Nobody else can ask me to do nothing else
That's right.
other than that,
That's right.
except be myself.
That's right.
Nothing else.
Nothing else.
And honestly, for me, I know it sounds really simple, all that kind of stuff, but for me personally, that helped me to just
Yeah.
really
I
relax.
talked about how I used to be when I had my insecurity about not going to college, and I always present this corporate image all the time.
Yeah.
All right, check this out. I didn't change. You know what snapped me out of it?
What's that?
When I got hit in my mouth. When life hit me in the mouth and put me on my back and showed me what it would do for me. Basically, I went through a tough time. I talked about when I went through my divorce and the economy had crashed and all the finances was all messed up, and I had moved and I was living by myself. At that point, when I went down to my lowest, I know I could go way lower than I did because I could have went way lower, but at my lowest as I ever want to go, okay? It was at that point when I came out of that, I realized that all of the people that I've been impressing, that didn't come into play. None of those people came to help me. Okay? All right? So what I learned, one of the major things that I learned from that time in my life is that be you, have your relationship with the Lord, read your word, pray, have your prayer life, work on that. But just be you, because at the end of the day, everybody celebrates you when you're on top or when you're at a certain level or you look like you're winning. But if it appears that you're not winning, you go through a dry place or you go through your tough spot or you go through your period of correction. Okay.
Yeah.
Then none of that stuff matters. So when you come out of the other side, you just be you.
Yeah.
And that's when I came through that period and I came out, that's when I adjusted. I even really care who thought about me. What I didn't care what people thought about me. I mean, I care about my character and I just be Keith. But I don't have to put on. I didn't have to put on anymore. This is how I'm rolling, this is what I'm doing, and this is me. And you either have to accept me. If you're gonna love me, you're gonna love me. This is for somebody out here. This is, again, I always say this, where the rubber meets the road. If you don't love me, you're gonna love me. You're gonna love me in the form that I'm in. You're gonna love me even if I'm rough around the edges, whatever state I'm in. This is where you know the people who love you, who are there for you. They're gonna love you regardless. Right?
That's right.
At your present state. Now, if you improve, that's a great thing. That's a positive. That's an asset, right?
Right.
But even if you stay at the same place that you were, you got to love me right here where I'm at. In my, naked, right here, the real deal. Okay? Like, so that's the deal. Like, if your people roll with you and you have your support group, and we always talk about who you align yourself with, those people should love you the way you are. If you have to change up who you are to be accepted by a certain group of people, consider that group. You need to reconsider your alignment with that group. Look at them very closely. Again, I'm not saying don't try to elevate yourself. I'm not saying don't try to better yourself. But if you have to stretch yourself so far out of you to align yourself with a group, maybe that's not your group. I said that on the last episode. All these things that we talk about keep coming back around full circle. Mm-hmm. Why is that? It's because it's all interconnected.
It is.
The insecurity, the depression. All of these things, they all are intertwined together. So, you have identity crisis issues, and it's driven heavily by what people are doing with their personal devices and their media devices and whatnot. But if you stay grounded and know who you are and don't get caught up in that, it's all right to enjoy it and keep it where it needs to be.
Right.
Everything has its place. Don't let it overtake you.
Right.
Don't get sucked too far into it.
Right.
And,
Right.
That's what we're just trying to bring you today.
Yeah.
We love you. Put yourself in a circle of people who love you as you are. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Before we started actually recording, we all, us in this room, the camera guy, the media guy, myself and Rand, we were going over some stuff that we struggle with. Okay? We were real in here. We're comfortable to talk about that. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Mm-hmm. And there's power in that. Because when you say these things and you can identify, hey, this is my area I struggle in. This is what I did to overcome it. This is, I'm going this amount of time without doing that anymore. All these things, whatever it may be. Hey man, that's power. Because if one thing is that you not accept it, but you have realized where your problem areas are. Mm-hmm. So if you can at least identify it, now you're able to start praying about what that may be, asking for help with that. And if your people around you can understand, people only want people that you can trust, okay? If they can identify and they still love you and they got your back, that's the human interaction that we're supposed to have. That's the way we're designed. We're not designed to be, and we learned that through the pandemic, we're not designed to be standalone. Mm-hmm. We're designed to be linked up together.
That's right.
Human interaction.
Yeah.
That's the way we were designed.
Yeah.
And we're just telling you this because we love you. This may be for the one person who need to hear this, man. Don't take that stuff literal that you see. Not everything you see is real. Don't measure yourself up on how many likes or how many, thumbs ups or likes or comments you get. Don't worry about that. That's not a gauge of who you are. Yeah. Keep it in perspective.
If you're feeling like you're not good enough, like you're less than, feeling like you got, low self-esteem,
right?
Feeling depressed, you're feeling, suicidal.
Yeah.
The enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy.
Yeah, he does.
And so he's trying to destroy your self-esteem. He's trying to take you out.
Yeah.
But it's a lie.
Yeah, it's a lie.
It's a lie.
That's
it's
right.
a lie.
That's right.
The thing is, buy into what the Lord is saying, what He says about you. Because He loves you. We love you too.
Yes.
And we just want to encourage you. We just want you to know that there's hope. We want you to know that He has a plan for you. That you are somebody.
Yes.
Somebody valuable.
Yep.
And it's not worth it.
That's right.
It's not worth it. This life is there's a special place here for you.
Yes.
So we're just here for you. We just want to thank you for joining us for another episode.
Yeah. And like we always say, it's coming. Power up, my man.
That's right.
Power up. Welcome to the Power Up Man Cave. I'm Keith Withrow. This is my man Gary. I'm dropping that. I gotta let you say your own name.
That's cool.
Back it up.
All right.
Take your time. You can take it from right here. Don't worry.
Okay. No, today, oh my God.
Collect yourself. I just realized you guys are coordinating.
Coordinate.